Well, here we are, folks. It's a conversation about the Vancouver Canucks that I think none of us wanted to have, but we have to have it here. Because the Vancouver Canucks had themselves a bunch of moves that they've made over the past few hours. We spoke about this in the previous video with Elliot Friedman and the commentary he had on Vancouver and Detroit, but now we have to dive into these roster moves, and we also have to get into Patrik Allvin, because he went out there and spoke out about the early injury bug striking this team. And it doesn't look, feel, sound, or is good. Does that make sense? It doesn't is good? No, it's not good, period. So let's go out there and take a look at all the moves that Vancouver did. Earlier in the day, they announced that Filip Chytil and Jonathan Lekkerimaki had been placed on the retroactive IR to yesterday. Victor Mancini assigned to Abbotsford in the AHL. Joseph LaBate and Jimmy Schultz recalled from Abbotsford, and Nils Höglander placed on the retroactive LTIR to October 7th. So, 4 different points, 4 different pieces of movement here. These guys are on the retroactive IR, Höglander's on the retroactive LTIR, LaBate and Schultz were recalled, and then Mancini was assigned to Abbotsford. This is what Dan Riccio went out there and said, reason 247368229 why I hate the salary cap. Victor Mancini goes down to Abbotsford because the Canucks have to tightrope the cap ceiling to ice a full roster amidst a mountain of injuries. This is what Rick Dhaliwal said about all the moves that were made today. As I predicted last night, the Canucks are doing some salary cap gymnastics to maximize their LTIR pool. Now, of course, the only reason they need to do this is because guys are getting hurt and because guys need to be replaced. Now we're seeing Joseph LaBate and potentially Nils Åman and Tom Willander getting themselves some time. Jimmy Schultz was up with the Vancouver Canucks for about 6 hours or so. He was recalled from Abbotsford and subsequently sent down. Jeff Patterson went out there and tweeted this: if Joe LaBate gets into any game action for the Vancouver Canucks, it'll be 8.5 years between appearances for the team. He last played for Vancouver March 28th, 2017 versus the Anaheim Ducks, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, if we head over to Joseph LaBate and his Elite Prospects page, I mean, this guy was initially drafted by Vancouver all the way back in 2011. He was on the roster as a prospect when the Vancouver Canucks made the finals. Then he played for Vancouver in 2016-17. You want to take a look at the roster when Joe LaBate was playing for the Vancouver Canucks at that time? It's not even available here. That's how far back it is. It's not even on there. We have to look at the team page itself and see that Bo Horvat, Henrik, and Daniel Sedin were at the top of the Canucks in points. Sven Baertschi had 35 points in 68 games. Brandon Sutter, Marcus Granlund, Louis Eriksson. This was the team when Joe LaBate last played for the Vancouver Canucks. Nikita Triamkin, Jack Skilly, and Michael Chaput. And then down here at the bottom, you've got Joe LaBate, who had 13 games played. Alex Grenier, Borna Rendulic, Evan McEnany, Mike Zalowski, Anton Rodin. This is an era begone for the Vancouver Canucks. And now Joe LaBate could debatably get into NHL game action again for the team, depending on whom the Vancouver Canucks decide to play. But with this in mind, with all these roster moves in mind, we have Patrik Allvin going out there and speaking out about the injuries that caused these moves, and he goes out there and says that when it comes to the big risk in regards to Filip Chytil, one big hit could send him back into concussion protocol. The Canucks GM says you never want to think that way, but it's definitely something that, unfortunately, we were aware of. I hoped it wasn't going to happen because I thought he was playing really well for us. Filip Chytil was energetic and he had a really good summer, so it's just sad to see. I guess we'll see how it is over the next couple of days. Chytil and winger Jonathan Lekkerimaki, who was also injured in Sunday's emotional 4-3 road win, traveled with Canucks medical staff back to Vancouver on Monday for further examination. Both players were placed on the IR. Now, I know a lot of people have been taking a look at this point and saying, hey, wait a minute, isn't that actually a good thing? Isn't it good for Filip Chytil to be able to travel back to Vancouver via plane? Because if you get a concussion, you shouldn't be flying right away. Signs show that this could be a positive thing, but we'll have to wait and see. Once they get their medical evaluation, at the very least, this probably means that against Pittsburgh later on the road trip, they're not going to be available, and then in their final game of the road trip, which is going to be against, let's see who it is here, Nashville, they also probably won't be available. Let's go back over onto the article, though, and read here. Only 26 years old, Chytil has dealt with at least 4 concussions in the National Hockey League, including one last March that ended his first season with the Canucks. He was a key component in the trade of JT Miller to the New York Rangers last January. The injuries to Chytil and Lekkerimaki, plus another on Sunday to Teddy Blueger, forced Allvin and his staff to make a flurry of transactions. Oh boy, Blueger is hurt as well. Obviously, you don't want to see that go down at the same time as all of the other injuries that go down. Oh boy. Take a look at this. To maximize the LTIR benefit, the Canucks sent down Mancini to the AHL, who fought Brandon Duhaime in the second period. Let's scroll past some of the commentary about the fights and whatnot, and just go into what this could mean. To get as near possible to the salary cap limit of $95.5 million US, the Canucks recalled AHL forward Joe LaBate and defenseman Jimmy Schultz. These players must be on the NHL roster for a day, but do not need to play a game, which means the Canucks could make other roster changes on Tuesday and start using the LTIR space that Höglander's $3 million salary generates at that time. Top defense prospect Tom Wielander is a strong candidate to join the Canucks on this road trip, which is indeed what happened. Then, this is where Allvin goes out there and talks about the lineup and how things are going to look. The first job is to find a way to get through the next game. Depth-wise, I think we're good at the bottom of the lineup. It's more how you get the skill guy for the top 6 that's the challenge. I think there's always been an urgency to add that player, and that's been something we looked into all summer. I would say this probably makes me look at other things I might not have looked at before. Just take a different view. My job is to look at the options short-term and long-term, and what makes sense for us. So, this essentially means that if Patrik Allvin analyzes the team, deems it's not really all that strong at the moment and doesn't look like they're going to be getting any reinforcements soon, could there be some sort of a panic trade? I don't know. Panic trade makes it sound like Patrik Allvin has lost control, but I'd say that the Vancouver Canucks and their injury bug has gotten out of control. Nobody has a handle on this. Although Blueger is staying with the team, Allvin said the veteran center is doubtful to play Tuesday due to his undisclosed injury. First-line winger Brock Boeser has a possibility to play after leaving the Canucks on Sunday for personal reasons. If Blueger is unable to dress, the Canucks' 4 centers against the Penguins could be Pettersson, Ratiu, Sasson, and LaBate. But again, the team could recall another AHL center like Nils Åman on Tuesday. Now, they did that today, so take out maybe LaBate and put in Åman. You have Pettersson, Ratiu, Sasson, Åman. Oh boy. Things are going to get very, very interesting for the Vancouver Canucks over the next few days. And I'm not going to go out there and sit and say that this is going to be amazing. I'm just intrigued. I'm just wondering, how well are these guys going to be able to perform? I question what the lines are going to look like, and I question just whom it is going to be able to play. But if you enjoyed this video, which I don't know why you would, please hit the like button. It helps out with the algorithm. Comments help out as well. Let me know in the comments all your opinions about all of these roster notes and what Allvin had to say about the Canucks and their lineup. It's going to be linked in the description. The article here, IMAC does a great job, as always. Big shout out over to him. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.